Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Go Beyond the Page podcast. My name is Elena, and today I'm here with Cody Shields.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me, Elena. I am excited to get this thing going.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely.
So can you tell me a little bit about yourself, about your career and what you do?
Yes. My name is Cody Shields. I go by B. Cody Shields. My first name is Brian. I started that when I was in real estate, which we can get to in a little bit. I am 38 years old. I'm happily married to Ashley Shields. I have a daughter named Relly. Her name is Morella, and we are just a fun little happy family that trying to figure things out. I am currently in full-time ministry. So I specialize, if you will, in Christian hip-hop. So that's the main thing that I do. It started a little over a year ago. I wasn't even really oh, Lord, I was never even really planning to do it by any means. To back up the story, I've grown up, I was always an athlete. I played some professional baseball. I was drafted in 2009 in the 15th round by the Chicago Cubs. I had just a little under 2 years with them, had a great little, fun time there. But I knew baseball wasn't my calling. I just wasn't good enough, to be honest with you. And so after they released me, I jumped into coaching a little bit, and then I got into real estate. And that's where I really spent the majority of my adult career, if you will, and working it was in real estate, about 12, 13 years. Now I have moved into this that is just, I never really saw this coming. My wife and I got called to do some sort of ministry and to sell the business that we had started. We started Think Real Estate with some good friends of ours, Zach Sanchez, Olivia Sanchez, and we had done that for like 6 or 7 years, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, God just says, "Hey, I want you to sell the business and come follow me over here." And we didn't know what that was, and it's kind of turned into something really cool. It has. So that's where we're at now. Just doing ministry full time, trying to figure it out. So
can you tell me a little bit about kind of when God put that desire in your heart to leave real estate and pursue Christian music?
Yeah, so it was interesting because so I'll go back. I hadn't even told you this. So I go back to when I was just starting off in real estate, and I had got into like your self-help books, like not bad, anything bad, just like writing down your goals and speaking things into existence, all that kind of stuff that you do when you get in sales for the first time when you're 26, 28 years old. And one of the things that talked about doing was to write your goals down and write them down every day. And so what I didn't even realize I was doing at the time was that some of them were just like personal goals that were very selfish and didn't have God behind them, but some of them were actually prophetic over my life. And I felt very strongly two things. One was that I was to write down the word musical influence. And I really didn't own an instrument. I had never done anything musically, hardly at all. I didn't, and the Lord kept writing musical influence. So in my mind, I was going to possibly do something business-wise to support it, or something like that. And then also, he put it on my heart, because at that time it was like, find your why, right? Like, what is your why? And so, he put it on my heart very clearly that real estate was going to be a launching point for me to share the gospel on a local, regional, national, worldwide level. And those four are very, they have meaning, and I'll explain that in a little bit. And that's pretty much all I got. So all these years, I didn't think that necessarily music was going to be something that I was going to do. I thought it might be something that I would support. Fast forward to, through some kind of relapses into addiction a little bit, through medical marijuana. I didn't get back into the drinking and the other stuff that I had dealt with, back before 2013. But after going through that and kind of veering off the path a little bit, God yanked me up in 2023 and was like, "Hey, it's either my way or the highway. Like he thumped me on the head pretty good, showed me that he could take it all away. And he showed me in that instance, and if there's anything that anybody gets from just today, this would probably be it. That I realized in that moment when I was literally in the middle of a golf tournament on the 14th hole at a local club during a big tournament, and I just broke down crying. I told my friends that I was playing with, and we were in competition, like an actual competition. I said, I can't do this. I got to go. And I just broke down, and I put down everything that was not of him. And at that point right there, I was changed again. I was recommitting my life to Christ again. And that was in 2023, and it wasn't until 2024 until in deep prayer, I had gotten this habit of really getting into the quiet place. So if you're going to sit around me long enough, you're going to hear me talk about the quiet place, right? And that's what truly changed my life, was being able to sit in silence with God and listen. And because I used to talk a lot to God, I would talk at him and everything. And so once I started sitting in silence, he started putting it on my heart there in late 2024, kind of throwing it out there. What would it look like if you sold the business? Mm-hmm. I want you to look at what that would look like. That's how it started. And he's putting it in my spirit. And then all of a sudden that moved into, let's talk to Ashley about it. Talk to your wife about it. And then it was, I want you to do this. And I was terrified, and I still am.
Yeah.
I mean, my flesh knows that he will, knows that he can, knows that he's going to provide. But, my spirit knows that. But my flesh, sometimes I'm still scared to death. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
Very scared.
You're not in control.
None.
And, you've given that control to God. And so, man, I can't imagine how scary that is.
It is, but it's a freeing place to be. It's a freeing place to be. So I'm praying one day. It was in 2024. This was right around the time. All right, we're either going to do it or we're not. And I had to kind of tell my business partner and talk about all this. It's all right, well, we're doing it. All right, what do I tell my parents? And I felt like, hey, I can handle my parents pretty well, but I've got Ashley's parents, and we're really close with Ashley's parents. We're close with both sets of parents. And I'm like, well, they've trusted me with their daughter, for all these years, and now I'm just gonna just say I'm done doing this, and I don't really have much of a plan over here. I just know that that's not going to settle well, and I don't want to have to just bring that to them. And I was like, God, I'm the provider, and and he stopped me right there. Boom, stopped me right in my tracks. And he's like, Cody, son, you are not the provider. He said, I'm the provider. It's your job to faithfully lead your family into and under my provision. And I was like, oh. I was in Relly's room praying, and it just, it struck me really hard, but it took a lot of relief off. And I even shared this with some of the men in my men's group last night. I don't have to be the provider. I have to lead where his provision is, and that provision, that umbrella of provision, as Miss Joni Bird was talking one day about when we shared this with her, she was like, it's cool because you imagine this umbrella of provision, and you're supposed to stay under that. And it was Overthink Real Estate for a long time, but it was moving. That provision is moving over here, and you are to lead your family under that provision. It's no longer at Think. So if you're there, maybe you're provided for financially more or something like that, but the provision of God is not there. It's over here. And so, it was. I want men to hear that you do not have to be the provider. You are not called to be the provider. You're called to lead your family into the provision. Work hard and lead your family into provision.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So can you talk about where you're at now?
Yeah.
So where your career is at, where your music is at.
Yeah. So we're actually at a really fun, cool point. There's been different stages where I went from anywhere from not even really being willing to say I was a Christian hip hop artist and didn't know anybody. And then as soon as I finally did surrender to that and start saying that, I met some guys Josh Richards, Brandon Teague, they go by the same name of Redeem, Jay Truth. Those guys took me under their wing last year and allowed me to go on tour with them. That was really cool. So I went from not knowing anybody, not knowing anything. They brought me in. They took me to their producer. They started taking me to shows, teaching me, showing me the ropes. And I needed to do a lot of stuff in a short amount of time for this whole thing to work. And God provided, go figure. And those guys really helped out. And that was still, I was very unknown, didn't have a fan base or anything like that. So my music was still not getting out there very much. Now we are getting to the point where we're gaining some traction. So I didn't do a whole lot at the end of the year. There's normally not a whole lot of shows to do because that's kind of where that's one of the streams of income is to go do shows and sell merch. I've started to get booked for more shows, some bigger shows this year, which is really cool coming up. Faith Jam, Hope Fest, and some of these. So those are filling up, but also the music's starting to get out more. People are streaming the music. The numbers are going up a little bit. And so in a business where like the progression's never going to be like this, it's going to be like kind of flat. And then if you go up, then it can kind of be quickly, but it may take a while, but it can be exponential. So it feels like we're at that little ramp stage to where it could be going up, hopefully fairly quick here before long. That's what we're praying for. But either way, the cool thing is like at these events, you get to these lives are changed. Like people are coming off the street because it's mainly street ministry that we're doing right now. And my heart isn't necessarily in street ministry in the sense of like that's where I feel like I'm called. That's where I am now. I feel like that's somewhere that I'll always have maybe somewhat of a foot in, but
can you explain a little bit?
So street, it's funny. I didn't even know I was quote unquote in street ministry until someone was like, "Hey, yeah, how do you like street ministry? You're in street ministry." Basically, it's a lot of it has to do with recovery. First of all, a lot of these events that we're going to, any church or anything, it is a recovery event from people that have been in addiction of drugs and alcohol. Also, a lot of times, like this past weekend in Jacksonville, we have an event ahead of time called the Unity in the Community event where we're outside of the theater. We're serving food. We have haircuts. We have sometimes there's shower trailers and stuff like that where people off the street can come in and we can serve them and then invite them to come worship with us later in the evening. And so like when we were in Daytona a few weeks ago, the blueprint worked perfectly, and there was this young lady named Brittany, and she came off the street. I mean, she looked one way. I mean, she looked very like life was tough, right? Very, very tough on her. And you fast forward, she kind of just hung around. People started, really just pouring into her. And by the end of the night, I go over to her, and she's like, "I just got saved," and I was like, "Sweet. Well, do you know about the baptism, that we have, or the baptismal?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm getting baptized." And like, I'm so happy. I'm like, let's go. So we start praying over her, and then we're baptizing someone in downtown Daytona with 100 people outside singing, "Get up, get up, get up, get up out of that grave." And like people pray, like it's so cool. So I say all that to say, even if the career never blows up and gets to a level that is, sustainable for me to be full-time, or I have to go back and do something else part-time or whatever, those moments like that, that's all it's about. You know what I'm saying? It makes it all worth it. So that kind of leads me into what we talked about with the one. I had a friend ask me a few weeks ago. He's like, "Hey man, like," and I don't really talk to this guy very much, but he just texted me out of the blue and was like, "Hey, what's your goal?" I was like, "What's your goal with all this? Like, how many is considered? Like, how many people saved or whatever?" He was looking for a metric, like what would make all this worth it. And I think, he was like, and don't say, try not to be cliche. Yeah. And I was like, all right, so. I'm praying, like, Lord, I don't know what to say, because all I know to say is one's enough, And And so I pray about it, and all of a sudden, I don't know why, I hadn't even seen the movie in a while, but the movie The Guardian came to my head, to my mind and my spirit. And it's a movie with Kevin Costner and Ashton Kutcher, and they're Coast Guard divers, and Ashton Kutcher's this state championship swimmer, and he comes into the Coast Guard school with some baggage, and him and Kevin Costner, who Kevin Costner plays the old veteran that is, legendary, that is, teaching them, and they're button heads. Well, one of the things in the movie is they talk about their number. How many saves do they have? So a lot of these new guys come in, they're hearing about these guys, and it's like, how many saves they have. I have 132 saves. I have this many saves. And so they're asking Kevin Costner, the veteran, what is your number? Because, he's the guy, and he won't give anybody a number. And so you don't really know why. And then towards, spoiler alert coming up, you get to the end of the movie, there's this big storm. The Ashton Kutcher, him and Kevin Costner, they've kind of made up a little bit. They're in the chopper. It's super, crazy going on outside. And he says, hey, and I don't know if exactly the number because I hadn't seen it in a while, but he said something like 3. He's like, 3? He's like, that's my number, 3. He's like, what do you mean? He goes, that's how many people I've lost. And I think it was 2 actually, but he hit. His number wasn't how many he saved. It's how many people did he go out to rescue, and he did not do. Not that he didn't do his job, but he missed 2. Mm-hmm. He missed 2, and so that came to my head because I'm not smart enough for that to just naturally come to my head. That was the Holy Spirit, and so I called my friend. And I said, "Hey, have you ever seen the movie The Garden?" And we talked about it, and that's basically how I look at it now. And God kind of gave me that image as like, every day I'm in a chopper. First of all, I need to make sure I'm in the chopper, right? I need to make sure I'm even up in the air looking for people. Am I going out into areas where people could be in danger, could be in peril, and I'm looking? Am I off my phone? Am I looking around as I'm going every day for opportunities to share the gospel? And then am I doing it? And so that's the ultimate goal for me at the end of the day, at the end of an event. I told that to some of my buddies, and at the end of the event, I was like, hey man, what was your number after this event? He's like, 0. He's like, I don't think I missed anybody. Like, I was looking as hard as I could for as many people that needed to be prayed with, needed to be delivered, needed to be saved. And so, yeah, like that's kind of my story that I'm really like, I'll tell anybody that'll listen right now, is that right there is what's your number? Well, I want my number to be 0 every day. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that way, that perspective.
It helps me.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge though, because first of all, as believers, we have to say, are we even in the chopper? Mm-hmm. Are we even up there? And then if we're up there, are we looking for anybody, or are we just going along every day, just making sure that we land safely so we can go to dinner with our kids and husbands and wives and stuff? So, anyways, sorry, got off on a tangent there.
No, okay. I appreciate it. So can you tell me a little bit about where people can find you and your music?
Absolutely. So our music streams on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Pandora, like everywhere that music is found. You can find it. B Cody Shields, B period, and then Cody Shields. Yeah, we're there. We're dropping songs about every 2 weeks to 4 weeks. So go check them out. I would love any support is great.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I'll put your where people can find you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Cody, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Absolutely.
Great time, and I'm very grateful that you were willing.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm very proud of you. You're doing well. I've known this young lady since she was very young, and just watching her grow up has been awesome. So I just wanted to say that on camera. Like, I'm very, very proud of you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You have some great parents.
They're pretty cool.
They're great. So,
well, thank you, Cody.
Thank you. I appreciate you.